Welcome back, guys. We have a very exciting video for you today. It's a little overdue, but I think you're going to really enjoy it. Welcome back to Working Aussies Homestead. My name is Josh, and in today's video I think you're going to be very excited because we are actually going to be doing a garden tour. Hopefully it will encourage you guys to get out and do more in your garden. So we're heading out to the garden today, and not everything is going to be exactly what we said we were going to plant. If you remember our previous video, we made basically a seed haul video talking about what we had planned on growing this year and what we were planning on doing, and to be completely honest, we haven't done all of it. Some of that's because it's too early in the season or too late in the season, and some of that is actually due to the fact that we honestly just haven't had as much time as we thought we were gonna have. It's actually looking really good, and I plan on giving you guys some tips and tricks to hopefully help you guys keep your gardens looking well. We've done a lot of work as far as prep work goes this year that we didn't do last year. So there are certain areas of the garden that are very weedy, and then there are some that are in excellent shape as far as weeds go because we have done that initial prep. But we'll kind of go over that a little bit in this part of the video because there is a spot in the garden where we are prepping for the next set of plants. So stay tuned for that. So first off, let's just get started with the good, bad, and the ugly. This is our first row in our garden, and I bet you it's not exactly what you expected. There are a lot of weeds in this bed, and that is basically because we're done with this bed. We had some garlic and some onion planted here, but for the most part, this bed is done. We're getting ready to cover this bed up. We rotate our beds very frequently around here, but this is one of the beds that did not get frequently rotated. We had some garlic and we had some onion and we had some carrots at the end. We basically harvested what garlic and onion and carrots we could, and then we kind of let the weeds take over. We're going to cover it up like a green manure with our tarp that you'll see later. So we're basically done with this bed, and it is now ready to be prepped for the next set of plants. I do want to show you this really cool thing though. If you've never seen a carrot go to seed, or if you've never seen a carrot basically have flowers on it, here's a really good example of what that looks like. So this is basically the carrot getting ready to have its flowers. It's going to bud, and then you're going to be able to get carrot seeds from this. We are not going to be harvesting carrot seeds from this because I have plenty of them, but let's see if we can pull this thing up and see what the carrot looks like on the bottom half of it. Kind of expected more than that, but looks like that's all we're gonna get. So, oh well. Good thing we're not gonna eat that carrot anyways. This will go in our compost, which is something that we are trying to get back into, is composting some of the things we're pulling out of the garden, so that way we can make our own compost and put back on top of our garden. Moving on to the next two rows, we have these sweet corn rows here. This one is obviously doing a little bit better than that one, but this is solely sweet corn. We did a variety last year of different colored corns, and they did not turn out very well. We didn't plant them. We did not plant a lot of them. We only planted like 3 rows side by side. So this year we have 2 36-foot rows of corn, and they are planted 2 rows deep. So if you don't know what that means, or you don't understand what I'm saying, we have 1 big row and then they're 2 rows deep. So basically we are doubling the amount of corn in 1 row instead of just having 1 single row of corn. I am very excited. They are pretty big, so I'm hoping that they will work out to our favor. Not all of them are as big, but I think we have some late bloomers, and I have planted some sweet corn in the places that we have space that they did not germinate. So hopefully all this sweet corn will come back. The other thing that I have done here, because we had talked about interplanting some things, in between the sweet corn I have planted some pole beans, so hopefully when the pole beans come up, they will twine up the corn. It will give the roots of the corn some nitrogen, as beans are like a nitrogen fixer, and give it more food and access to nutrients together, so that interplanting works well. Fingers crossed, hopefully that'll work. I don't know if it will. I read it in a book. We'll see what happens. In this next row, which is our third row, we have a combination of squash and zucchini. We have our mint patty pan squash that we did last year. We have some crookneck squash, and then we have some black beauty zucchini as well. These plants are doing very, very, very well. Not as good as the ones on the other side of the next row, but they are looking really, really good. Take a minute and just enjoy how big that leaf is. These plants are coming in really, really well. You want to make sure you're looking underneath, so that way you can see if you've got any eggs from squash bugs. Fingers crossed, we haven't had much issues with them yet, but I'm sure they are definitely on their way. It looks like we might be getting some flowers in here. You can see down in here, we're getting those flowers coming up. So I'm very excited. To get these going. Squash and zucchini are one of the best things that we have ever done in our garden. The first year we were here, we did not do squash and zucchini, but the second year we did the mint patty pan squash. I couldn't eat it all. That's how good we did. We made soups out of it. We made roasted squash. We took some to the farmer's market. We could not keep that stuff on our table because we had grown so much. We had 50 feet, and I think it was like 26 plants, and they were massive. So needless to say, we are looking forward to this squash. If you've never had a mint patty pan squash before, they're absolutely delicious. I encourage you to check it out. The next row we are going to be talking about is prepping our next one. We just took the tarp up from this yesterday, and we are getting ready to put new compost on top, cardboard, and then we'll put mulch on after that. And what that does is, even though the black tarp did a really good job of covering and smothering out any of the seeds, the cardboard is going to keep them from coming back, even in places that you can't control them. So for example, you've got weeds underneath here. They're going to be able to be smothered out and stay smothered out. And if there's anything else that germinates underneath, once it does start raining again and and the soil gets wet underneath, they're not going to come up necessarily through the cardboard. But if you have issues with weeds, cardboard is an excellent way to control some of those weeds. So prepping this bed, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do in here. I'm thinking we're going to do some peanuts, and then I think we're going to do maybe some more beans, bush beans. We'll have to figure it out. The bush beans over here are looking really good, so I think we'll get a good harvest off of them, but I'm not 100% sure. You never know sometimes with these pests. All right, so row number 3 is really the same almost as row number 2, but we have bush beans over here in the front half of this bed, as you can see here. And these are the Provider green beans. You can get these from Johnny's Seeds. We did really, really well with these last year. They come in a green, and then they also sell a burgundy, and the burgundies just didn't do as well for us as the greens did. And then after the beans, we have some more of our squash, and this side is looking much, much larger than the last one. I mean, you can see these are like way more bushy and tall. I'm probably gonna have to prune some of these back. Be very careful when you're putting your hands in your squash plant. Just look before you do it. I went in here yesterday. We were making another video for you guys, and what we ended up finding was there was a black widow nestled up into these squash. So just be really, really careful when you are reaching into your squash. Make sure you're not reaching into something you don't want to get your hands on. Next is the pea plants. These guys are looking pretty good as far as springtime plants go. We planted these late, so I wasn't really expecting to get much off of them, but you can see they're doing really well. I'm gonna just hold on. I'm gonna wait and see how they do. Some of them are starting to get dry at the bottom, but we're just gonna hold out, see what happens. The interesting thing about these compared to last year is that the weather this year has been crazy. We've had a couple of days of 91 degrees, but most of the time it's been in the 70s, mid 80s. And so they've been getting these pea pods, and they're not really dying yet. So I haven't pulled them up. There's a couple of plants down here, if you can see back here. They're starting to get yellow, but for the most part, they're still hanging around. So I'm not gonna pull them out just yet. Oh no! Looks like it broke. Looks like maybe like a high wind came through and broke off my plant. Oh no, I had like good peas on here. Dang. That sucks. This is one of my better plants. I guess we'll leave this here and we'll come back in like a day or two, see if it's all dead. If it's all dead, I'll just pull off the peas that I can and save what I can, and then I'll just pull this one out. But sometimes that happens. You get some wind and they just blow right over. These are looking really good. These spring blush peas with their little like flowers, they're really, really cool. Just little purple flowers. There's a lot of peas on this one, so hopefully these will stick around and not get blown over like the last one. I've got these little radishes in here and they're starting to come up. You can see some more over here on this side, and we've interplanted them with this spinach here, and some of it's starting to bolt, but we have some more that we've planted. This is, I think this is Johnny's Reflect spinach or Gazelle. I can't remember. This is either the Reflect or the Gazelle, but it's really, really good. It has really big leaves and it's just gorgeous, and it does really, really well with our radishes that we're doing. You can see this one's starting to go to seed here. Got some radish in here. Looking really nice. About ready to be picked, so we'll take this one inside and we'll eat this one. Alright, that's going to be about it for this garden. We got one more row, and it's really just a half row. And in this row we have some lettuce and some carrots. And we've interplanted the lettuce and the carrots because supposedly they do really well together. The lettuce has done amazing. The carrots are coming up, but they're taking longer. So as you can see here, they are coming about. So the carrots are growing in between the lettuce. I've got 2 rows of lettuce and 3 rows of carrots. I need to get in here and weed some again, but basically this is what you would get if you were interplanting these 2 species. And I'm excited because growing carrots in the middle of summer. Growing carrots in the middle of summer are not necessarily something that you do on a regular basis, but it can be done. So we're trying out a couple of things. The lettuce here is a black Simpson lettuce, and the carrots are, I think, just regular old Scarlet Nate carrots. So I'm excited about how these are turning out. Now if we walk down the rest of the row, we had some broccoli, and then you can see back here, this is all the garlic that we had back this way that got just overgrown with weeds. So we're going to basically pull up what we can, cover all of this, and then start fresh. I don't know what we're gonna plant over here. I've got some tomatoes and peppers that need to go out, but at this point I've got 3 more rows over here that also need to be planted. So looks like we might be planting a little bit more squash, maybe some more corn, maybe some more beans, and whatever else we can get our hands on. Might plant some more peppers. Miss Jordan wants me to do some cucumbers. She likes to make pickles. And then we're gonna be trying, like I said, some peanuts. We might do a row of potatoes here in the garden, a late crop of potatoes. And then I don't know what else we're gonna do. We're gonna try some other things, but I'm not sure what it's gonna be. I've planted some okra, I've planted some pumpkins, I've planted some winter squash, so we'll have to see how that stuff comes out in our seed room. But hopefully we'll get that stuff out here and maybe even have it go in some of these spaces here. So we'll have to try it and figure out what we're gonna do with that. Speaking of potatoes, let's go check out the potato garden that we had a specific video on and see how that's doing. So we have sporadic growth because not everything that we planted potato wise came up, but let me show you what we did get. So for whatever reason, down here by the end of this row, kind of a bust. Everything really didn't grow, nothing sprouted except for the 2 that you see here. But if you walk further down, you'll start to see where we get a little bit more potatoes. It's about time to mound these things up because they're about to fall over. We've got a lot of potatoes back here, so I'm hoping that we'll get a good yield off them if I can keep these mounded up. They're growing like weeds, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get them mounded as quickly as I can, but we're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep getting this up, and hopefully in the next update, we'll see how big they've gotten next time. Alrighty guys, thank you for joining me today. I enjoyed showing you what our garden looks like, and I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Hope it inspires you to get outside and get your hands dirty in your own garden. And until next time, you guys, we will see you in the next video. If you want to see more of our garden from last year, make sure you click this video up here and make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.